Screen visible?
Not yet, Prabhuji. Yes, now it's visible.
Now visible, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is visible. Is it let me move this and then ask, is it moving or not? Some my computer is a bit slowed.
Yes, Prabhuji, it is moving.
Moving, no?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
Okay. So we have read till the characteristics of souls. Okay, so we were discussing these characteristics. So we'll move from we have read till Jnana Kand. Okay, so we'll move to Karma Kand, then Buddhi Yoga, then Sthit Pragya. So 3 sections we have left for today. Okay, little bit longer chapter because till 72 slokas we have to read, 31 to 72. So let's move. Okay. So section C, we are starting, that is Karma Kand. Okay, so Krishna is giving reason for fighting from the Karma Kand. Fight, for the gain come from dutifully fighting and loss come from not fighting. So that is the Karma Kand Krishna is giving you. So do your work. Okay. So mainly there are 2 types of duty. Okay. One is the Swadharma, one is Sanatan Dharma. So Swadharma means a specific duty for the body. Okay. So this the Varnashrama system, the work which is according to the Varnashrama system, that comes in under the Swadharma. Okay, that is specific duty towards our body. Okay, so when we are in the bodily concept, we need to do Swadharma also. But when we are in liberated stage, that is, we are in liberated state, so there is no bodily concept. Spirituality, in spiritual there is no bodily concept for the material body. So we don't have any duty Swadharma in that liberated state. But in the material stage, conditioned stage, what happens? Varnashma Dharma is there. So our prescribed duty is there and we have to do our prescribed duty. Okay. And based this prescribed duty or Varnashma system are based on the modes and the karma. Okay. Modes and karma, the guna and karma. So, and what is the goal of doing that Swadharma? The duty goal is to gradually progress to other liberation. So there are mainly 2 types of duty. One is called the Swadharma, another is called the Sanatan Dharma. Swadharma is the specific duty for our body, and that too according to the Varnashma system. And Varnashma system is based on the 3 modes. Okay, and what is the goal of doing the Varnashma system? The work according to Varnashma system, gradually progression toward the liberation. Okay, so that is the thing. So Krishna says, considering your specific duty as Kshatriya, you know that there is no better engagement for you than fight on religious principle. And so there is no need for hesitation. So consider yourself that you are a Kshatriya. Your duty is for you, the best duty is in the fighting the religious principle. Okay? There is no need of hesitation. That is what performing dharma or discharging a specific duty gradually elevates to higher platform. Okay, that is the same thing. Gradually to lead to liberation. Next sloka, Krishna says, O Partha, happy are the Kshatriya to whom such fighting opportunity comes unsought, opening for them the doors of heavenly planet. So, duty to fight for Kshatriya, Kshatriya Varna, the duty is to fight. When this opportunity of fighting comes, it comes to the certain very lucky and happy understanding the duty. So you are very happy. If you are doing duty, it will open doors for the heavenly planet. It will elevate to a higher planetary system. Okay. Then you will certainly incur sin for neglecting your duty and thus lose your reputation as fighter. Sinful reaction. Krishna says, if you are not following your religious duty, if you are not following your duty as per Varnasma system, then that will encourage it. That will, okay, following the duty, that will be more sin. Okay. Then Krishna says, people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. So all the Kannada thing, people are working for honor, Krishna is giving, people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. For Kshatriya, dishonor is very bad thing. Okay, that is what Krishna is just um, telling Arjuna. The great generals who have esteemed your name will think that the battle out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. So you are thinking that you will from the fight, but the people who have come with the opposite side won't. They will, score your ability that you are not able to fight. You are left the battlefield. Okay, that is what they will tell. Will tell you left the battlefield out of fear. Okay, so that thing they will think. My voice is audible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Is my voice? Yeah. Okay,
For
Mataji.
me, it is breaking.
Okay, okay. So I just change the my internet connection. Just 1 minute. You can look at that.
I can read the shloka, Prabhuji.
Yes. Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Is
Yes,
it
can
better?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. Okay. So can you read the
Yes,
shloka, Mataji? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Avachya vadamscha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaah nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkhataram nukim. Hare Krishna.
So Arjuna, Krishna is saying that your enemy will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Okay. So again, he is saying that you will become infamous, ill famous if you are not fighting, and it will lead to bad example for your future generation. So Arjuna was one more reason Arjuna was giving, that if I am not, if I am fighting, it will lead to the death of the elders, and this will lead to the Varun Shankara. Okay. So or the Varun Shankara it will lead, and it will lead to the destruction of family tradition. But Krishna is saying, if you are not fighting, then what will happen? You will become infamous, and that will not be good for your future generation. So to set an example for your future generation, to set a good example for your future generation, you should fight. Okay, so that is the reason Krishna is giving. Either you will be killed on the battlefield or will attain heavenly planet. So there are two things are there. Or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. So two things are there. If you're fighting for your religious duty, what will happen? First thing is you may lose the battle. Okay. If you are losing the battle, you will be killed on the battlefield, and you will attain the heavenly planet. Because if you are doing a prescribed duty, and while doing your prescribed duty you are getting killed, then you will get the higher planet. Okay. But if you lose also, if you win also this war, then what will happen? You will get this earthly kingdom, whole earthly kingdom you will get, and then you can enjoy here also. So there is no the both ways. There is win-win situation. Okay, so Arjuna was giving this loss of enjoyment. So Krishna is giving this argument.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapshyasi.
So now Krishna is saying, fight for the sake of fighting and without considering happiness or distress. Lose or loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin. So Krishna is saying, just do your duty, whatever duty is there. Okay, don't consider what is going to happen. You are going to win or lose. You are going to have victory or defeat. You are going to have happiness or distress. Just do your duty. Okay, so don't consider, don't think anything about the result. Just consider the fighting thing. So fight for the sake of fighting without considering the result, and in this way, you shall never incur the sin. So okay. So that was the Karma Yoga section. Okay. So Karma Kanda section, Karma Yoga section. Now comes the this Buddhi Yoga section. That is the Nishkam Karma Yoga section. Okay. So how to fight without reaction. That is what Krishna is explaining here. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Esha te bihita sankhye buddhir yogatve mam shrinu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. Hare Krishna.
So till now I have described. So Krishna is telling now in the verse number 39, Krishna is saying, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through the analytical study or the Sankhya Yoga philosophy. Okay, so you are not considering till now, I'm not considering the Sankhya Yoga means what is the constituent of the body. Okay, so atheistic philosophy. Actually, it is an atheistic philosophy. What is the only considering what is the constituent of the body, how the body is made. Okay, the numbers from which the body are made, like 24 elements are there from which the body is made. So the Sankhya philosophy is it considers how this body is made. Okay, so Krishna described till now about fame, infamy, how the your opposite party will say what is going to happen, or what is the future generation is going to say. Those things Krishna was describing till now. Now Krishna is saying, now listen, as I explained in terms of working without fruitive results, that is Buddhi Yoga. So now Krishna is going to speak about Nishkam Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga. Okay. O son of Pratap, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. Okay. Karma bandhan. Karma bandhan. You can free yourself from the karma bandhan. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so this is an important sloka. Prabhupada quotes this sloka many times. So it says, Neha abhikarma nastosti. Okay, ne means not, no. Abhikarma means there is in this endeavor. Okay, in this endeavor means the spiritual endeavor. Naso asti. Naso means there is no loss. Okay. Pratyavayo na vidyate. And there is no diminution also. So there is no loss, no decreasement. Okay. So there is no loss, no decreasement in this endeavor. Okay. Whatever endeavor you are doing, what is the spiritual endeavor, that is Niskam Karma Yoga endeavor, which you are doing, the devotional service which you are doing, or which I am saying you are doing, in this endeavor, there is no loss or no diminution. Okay. Swa alpam ashi api asya dharmasya. So even if you are doing swa alpa, even very less, alpa, swa alpa. So even if you are doing very less amount of advancement in this path, okay, then what will happen? Trayate mahato bhayat. It will protect you from mahato bhayat. Mahan bhay. Mahan bhay means great fear, greatest type of fear, dangerous type of fear, most dangerous type of fear. So in this endeavor, there is no loss of or diminution. In the spiritual endeavor, there is no loss, no diminution. Whatever you have done, that is safe. Okay. And a little advancement is protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is the most dangerous type of fear? The most dangerous type of fear is taking birth in this material world again. So if you are doing the progressing in a spiritual path, it will protect you from the cycle of death and birth. So that is what Krishna is saying. So if you are doing any spiritual act, if um, uh, uh, means if you are doing any spiritual activity, we are advancing, let's say till 20%. So 20% advancement we have made in the spiritual path, and we left the body. Okay, what will happen in the next life? We'll start from the 24th part. Okay, for 24th percent. Okay, but if you compare it with this material world, okay, this material world is not like that. Okay, so like if you're taking one MBBS degree, okay, so MBBS degree is 4.5 years of MBBS and then 1 year of internship. Okay, so if a person even completes only 4 years, he won't get the certificate. He has to complete the full, then only he will get the certificate. But in this spiritual path, what happens? Even if you are doing 25%, it is saved. Okay, and from next life you will start from that at 26%. It is not like that you have to start from the first. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, the same. Even little amount of advancement you do in the spiritual path, it is saved. It will save you from that cycle of birth and death. Yes, this is also important.
Hare
Yes, Mataji.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर् एकेह कुरु नन्दना बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
So it is said, Vyavashatmika Buddhir. Okay. So the buddhi, the mind, okay, the aim of one who is fixed, whose aim is fixed. Okay, that is who is fixed in the spiritual path, who is fixed in the spiritual path. Ekahu Kurunandana means whose buddhi is fixed in the purpose, the aim. Okay, so those who are on this path are resolute in their purpose, and their aim is one. Their aim is fixed. Ekahu Kurunandana. Okay, or what happens to the whose intelligence is resolute? The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branch. Okay, so two types of intelligence Krishna is saying. Krishna says the intelligence of one who's fixed, they are in the spiritual path. The intelligence of those who are irresolute, those are not fixed, there are many branches. Okay, so actually Krishna says that person is Vyavashatmika Buddhi, who is fixed in the spiritual path. His aim is only to progress in the spiritual path. Very much attached to the flower activity for it to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life. They say there is nothing more than this. So Vedas contain all the knowledge. So Veda Vyas penned down all the knowledge which was available at that time. Okay, so their Vedas contain the knowledge even for the people who are in the mode of ignorance, for the people who are in the mode of passion, for the people who are in the mode of goodness, and for the people who are even above the mode of goodness. Okay, so many things Vedas contain. So when according to that, when a person start reading Veda, that knowledge which was penned down, they become attached. Okay, they become attached to the flowery words, and they start um, doing various fruitive activity like doing havan, doing puja, and all those things. Okay, so upasana, the type it is called upasana. So they start doing upasana, and they want some material result like that. Okay, so that is the thing. So men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of Veda, which recommend various fruitive activity for elevation to the higher planets, result in good worth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than that. So they stop their progress. They stop their progress in that only because they're too much attached to the material thing. Okay, and they say there's nothing more than this. Only we have to do this. They don't consider the spiritual life. So that is the thing. Men of small intelligence. So the person who doesn't consider the spiritual life is called men of small intelligence in this sloka. Okay. In the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulences, and those are bewildered by such thing, be the resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme Lord does not take place. So those who are too much attached for the sense gratification, devotional life is very difficult. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes of material nature. Okay, so three modes are discussed in the material Vedas. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all the duality and free and from the all anxiety, and for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Okay, so we have to get above from all those three modes. That is what it is. Vedas mainly deals. It start with the these all the different modes. Okay, and we have to cross all the mode, and we have to become transcendental to all those three modes. Okay, so that is the thing. Srimad Bhagavatam is in the mode of transcendental mode. Okay, so that is the thing. So many Vedas will be there which are considering in the different types of, for the different suiting for the different type of people. If you tell a person who is in the mode of ignorance, and you tell the knowledge for the person who is in the mode of goodness, okay, so that he won't be able to accept. So the Vedas are also made for different type of people. Okay, so that is the thing. But the purpose of Veda is same. So that is what Krishna says in 2.46. Krishna says, as all the purposes of a small well can be served by a great reservoir of water. So if there are so many small wells, and if there is one big reservoir of water reservoir, so all the purpose of small well can be served by a big reservoir. Okay. Similarly, all the purpose of Veda can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So purpose behind the yoga is to know the Supreme. The final purpose is to know the Supreme. So when we that purpose, so similarly all the purpose. So Krishna generally mainly say that there is no need of reading all the Veda, all the Shastra, all the purpose of Veda can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. One who knows that Krishna is the Supreme. There is no need for them to read the Vedas also. Okay, so that is what Krishna says. Purpose behind them of the Veda is Krishna, to know Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
Very famous sloka. You have heard this sloka many times. So just see what is there. Karmanyava adhikaraste. Okay, you have adhikar. Karmanyava adhikaraste. So you have adhikar of doing the karma. You have the right of performing the prescribed duty. Mahafaleshu kadachana. But kadachana, you don't have the right for the phal or the fruits of the work. Okay, so you have a right to perform a prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Okay, so you should not become too much attached to the fruits of action. You just have to do your duty. Okay, and you have to right to perform your duty. Fruits, you don't have any right. Okay, that is what Krishna is saying. You have the right to perform a prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activity, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So, so 2 to 3 things are there in this sloka. First thing, you have the right of your duty. Second thing, you are not entitled for the fruits of action. Third thing, never consider yourself the cause of the result of all the activity. So you are not only the doer. Okay, there are many doers. Okay. Fourth thing, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Even I'm saying that you have the right to perform your duty and you don't have the result. That means that doesn't mean that you don't have to do your duty. You have to do your duty. First thing, you have the right to perform your duty. So you have the right to perform your duty. Even you don't have the right for the result, you have to do your duty. Okay. So it is said that there is no akarmani. It doesn't say that you should do akarmani. Means you have to do your duty. Never be attached to not doing your duty. Okay, so that is the thing. The last thing is not doing your duty. Many people, they leave home, they leave their work, they leave their prescribed duty without purification. Okay, And they think that it is written in Bhagavad Gita, but the Bhagavad Gita never says like that. Says never be attached to not doing your duty. You have to do your duty. So that is the thing. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Hare Krishna.
So perform your duty equiposed, abandoning all the attachment to success and failure, and such equanimity is called yoga. Okay. So perform your duty. Don't be attached to the success or failure or the result. Okay. So that is the thing. Keep all abominable activity far distance by devotional services. So one more important concept Krishna is giving through this. Okay. So how can we keep all our abominable activity far distance from us? Okay. So many bad habits we have. So many bad habits we have. How can we keep all the bad habit far away? Krishna says, by devotion service. By devotion service. When we are engaged in devotional service, when we are fully engaging ourselves in the devotional service, the activity which are not good for ourselves, we won't have the time actually. Okay. We are fully engaged in the devotional service, we won't have the time for the abominable activity. So that is the thing. Attachment and detachment. The concept of attachment, detachment comes from here. Krishna says you should detach yourself from the bad activity. But how can you detach yourself from the bad activity? First thing is you should attach yourself to Krishna. You should attach yourself to the devotional services. When you attach yourself to the devotional service, gradually or automatically or naturally, the bad habits, you will become detached from the bad habits. Okay. So first thing is to attach yourself to the Krishna, attach yourself to something higher purpose, attach yourself to something devotional. Then detachment will occur with the material things or the bad things or the abominable activity. Okay. So that is the thing. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are miser. Okay. Again, one more concept. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are miser. So we should consider surrendering our fruits to Krishna. Okay. That is the intelligence. So a man engaged in devotional service rids himself to both good and bad reaction even in this life. So when we are not considering ourselves the recipient of the result, we are considering God as the recipient of result, then there is not reaction also. There is no reaction also. If we are not taking the result of the activity, there is no reaction for that. Okay. So that is the thing. If we are surrendering the result to Krishna, Krishna takes care of all the reactions of those activities. Okay. So man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reaction even in this life. That is called akarma. It doesn't have any material reaction. It has only spiritual reaction. Okay. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Okay. So that is the thing. 51. By thus engaging in devotional service to Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the result of work in the material world. How they freed themselves? By engaging in devotional service of Lord. Okay. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond the miseries. Okay. So that is the way Krishna is saying. Only way is to engage yourself in the devotional service of Lord. Okay. So Buddhi Yoga, Krishna is telling about Buddhi Yoga uh, in these lines. Okay. When Buddhi Yoga happens, what happens? When your intelligence has passed out of this dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and that is yet to be heard. Okay. So will be above from all the material activities, material things. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of Veda and it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. So that is the thing. That is the time when you are above the all the three modes and your mind is fixed in me. Okay, that is the time of self-realization. Okay, so Buddhi Yoga, we have read all the things. Let's summarize what we have learned. So Buddhi Yoga, what is the benefit? Freedom from all the good and bad reaction. In the 150 we have read freedom from all the good bad reaction, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, When we are active, when we are doing activity Niskam Karma Yoga, when we are doing activity for Krishna, what happens? First is freedom from all the good and bad reaction. We don't get the bad and good reaction because we are working for Krishna. Krishna takes care. That is akarma, no good bad reaction. Then comes second, 51, freedom from the cycle of birth and death. If there is no good bad reaction, if there is no good bad reaction, there is no need to take body also. Okay. 52, indifferent to Vedic rituals, above the Vedic rituals, you can say. Realization of relationship with Krishna as eternal servitor. Okay. So we realize our relationship, and last is goes back to Godhead. It goes back to Krishna Loka. Okay. Then comes the last part, that is Sthit Pragya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Uvacha Stithaprajñasya ka bhasha samadhistaya keshava stitadikkim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim.
So Arjuna is asking about this Sthit Pragya person now. Okay. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendent?" Okay. The person who is Atmaram, the person who is self-situated, the person who has the knowledge. What are the symptoms of those person, Krishna? How does he speak? How does what is his language, and how does he sit, and how does he walk? So many questions Arjuna is asking to Krishna. So let's summarize the questions. He's saying, what is the symptom? Okay. The person who is self-situated, the person who is Sthitadhir Muni, the person who is Atmaram, okay, who knows, who is self-situated, self-situated person. What is the symptom of those person? How does they speak? How does they sit? How does they walk? So these are the questions given, asked by Arjuna. Okay, so let's let's see what is the meaning of all those words. Okay, so symptoms. Arjuna is asking for symptom. How does he reveal his position? How can we identify those person? How can we identify those person like Sthit Pragya person? Second question was, how does they speak? Okay, means how does he react to the actions of other when someone is some action, some good action or bad action is there from some other person? How does he react? Okay, so that is the ask, that is asked as how does they speak. Okay, third, how does they sit? Sit means how does they sit at one place, means how does they withdraw all the senses when there is bad association is there, when there is a unfavorable environment. How does they withdraw the senses? Okay, so that is the thing. And when there is favorable environment, where does they engage the senses, means how does they walk? So four questions Arjuna asked. What is the symptom? How does they react to the situations outside? How does they withdraw the senses when unfavorable environment is there? And where they engage the senses when there is favorable environment? That is, how does they speak, sit, and walk? Okay. So Guru Parampara system, you can say Srila Prabhupada is there, his Guru Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj. So like that you can say, and you can take their example, how does it react to those situations, what are the symptoms, and we'll try to understand the symptoms based on that. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Parthamanugatan Atman Evatmatushtaha Sita Prajnastadocyate.
So who is called as the Pragya, the symptom? The blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man give up all variety of sense desire, kaman, okay? So all the kama, okay, all variety of sense desire which arise from the mental concoction. And when his mind finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So what are the things it is written here? Let's try to understand. Give up all the variety of sense desire. So it is the ultimate, you can see the Sthit Pragya or Atmaram is the final situation. Okay. So it is these are the symptoms of those person, not a person who is progressing, the final symptom. So what will happen to that person? The person gives up all variety of sense desire. He doesn't have any sense desire. Okay. And his mind finds satisfaction in self alone. He's self-situated. And then he's said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So these are the symptoms of those person. You can see Prahlad Maharaj is there, symptom. Okay, self-situated. What is happening outside? No effect. Okay, so dangerous, so fearful. This Rakshasa, he is self-situated. He's situated. He's thinking about Krishna. He's thinking about Hari. Okay, he's thinking about Vishnu, and he's no fear in the face. You can see. Okay. Again, Holika Dahan, no fear. Okay. Prabhupada, he went to America at the advanced age of 70 years. 70 years. A person at 70 years, he won't move out of his house. Okay, so difficult to move. And he went to America just for preaching purpose, just to fulfill his desire of his Guru Maharaj. Okay, can you imagine? No person to receive, no person is there to help. Okay, no money. Okay, just to fulfill the desire at the age of 70 years, advanced age, and after that he changed all the. He has given the knowledge to the people, and the people start changing. Okay, can you imagine such a pure devotee Prabhupada was? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yah sarvatra napi sneha tat prapya shubha shubham na vinandati na dveshti tasya prajna pratishtitha.
So what is the speech? In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising nor it or nor by despising it, despising it, is firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge. Okay. So he's not affected. He's unaffected. He's unaffected whatever is happening outside. Okay, unaffected by whatever good or evil is there. Okay, what if there is anyone is praising, if there is doing asking there's not praising, he's completely aloof from all those things. He is self-situated. He's not means affected by the outer environment. Okay, firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yada
ma'am.
samharate chayam पूर्णोनागेव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
So Krishna is giving the example of kurma. Kurma is the kachua, tortoise. Okay. So he is giving the example how there's a sit. Sit means how they withdraw the senses when there is unfavorable environment. So Krishna is saying how the tortoise withdraw the senses when there is withdraw the limbs or head inside the cell when there is unfavorable environment. The same thing happens to the Sthit Pragya person. Okay, when he sense that the outer environment is not favorable, they will withdraw the senses. They will just stop their senses. Okay, so that they'll just not stop. They will just engage their senses with something different. Okay, so that is the thing. What is the different thing? We'll read in the next sloka. So he says, one who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense object as the tortoise withdraws his limb within the cell is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. That person is Atma Pragya. How does they sit? They withdraw the senses just like tortoise. But after withdrawing, where they engage the senses? Where they engage the senses is the next slide. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate.
Okay. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So this is an important concept. Okay. That so slides are there. In this, I will try to describe this important concept. So symptom of Sthit Pragya, how does he sit? How does he withdraw his senses? So embodied soul, the thing is they can restrict their sense enjoyment. Okay, so many people are there, they when they see motivational speakers or any other person, they will say you should not engage your senses, you should not engage your senses, you should control your senses, and by listening to them they start controlling the senses. Okay, artificially controlling the senses, but artificially they are trying to control the senses, but their mind is engaged in the sense of object. Okay, So mind is not controlled and senses are controlled. What will happen? Fall down will happen anytime, because if the senses are, you are trying to control the senses, or mind is not controlled, then automatically fall down will happen. Okay, fall down will happen. So the thing is, restricting the sense enjoyment, but taste for the sense object remains. The taste for sense object remains. Then what will happen? Then fall down can happen. You can see the example of Vishwamitra. Okay, and there is another part. Okay, the first the person is trying to control, restricting the senses artificially, but taste for object, sense object remains. That is the first part. Okay, second part, if a person is developing the higher taste, okay, higher taste means he is engaging the senses in something different. He is engaging the senses in something higher, that is spiritual work. Then what will happen? The taste is higher. The spiritual taste is higher than this material taste. When a person is engaged in the devotional service, they will taste the spiritual higher taste. Then they won't fall down. They won't fall down for the lower taste or the material taste. Just like if someone gives us, if we have cycle and we are enjoying the cycle. If someone asks, give me the cycle, we won't give. But if someone gives us motorcycle and then asks, give me the cycle, I will give them sudden, means quickly. Okay, so that is the thing. When we have higher taste, automatically we can lose the lower taste. Unless and until we are attaching to the higher taste, it is very difficult to detach ourselves from the lower taste. Okay, so two concepts are there for detachment. First is, we can artificially trying to control the senses, but our mind is not controlled. That person is called mithyachari. We'll read in third chapter. That person is called mithyachari. And if we are engaging ourselves as to something higher, something devotional, something the taste which is higher than this material taste, then automatically we lose the artificial senses. Okay, or the material material taste. Okay, so that is the thing. It is very difficult to many person to leave many things, like bad thing. Like if a person is addicted to cigarette, a person is addicted to non-vegetarian. Non-vegetarian food is also addicting. Okay, that's why a person is not able to leave that thing. So if a person is addicted to non-vegetarian food, if a person is addicted to this alcohol, if a person is addicted to smoking, it is very difficult to leave. But if a person engages himself to the higher thing, higher devotional service, like in the devotional service, serving the Lord, okay, then automatically they can lose the sense, this addiction of all those things. Okay, so that is the thing. So that person, when we are developing the higher taste, we are fixed in Krishna consciousness. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipashchitah indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham manah.
Okay. The Indriyani Pramati, they are very, very strong. The Indriyas are very strong. The senses are so strong and impetus, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Senses are very strong. If you are not engaging the senses in something higher, there is a high chance that it will fall down can happen. Okay. Senses are very strong. So senses are there, they are very strong, and they're forcibly, they will lead you to forcibly carry away the mind, forcibly carry away mind of a man trying to control them. They can even one sense is not controlled. After the five senses, even the one sense is not controlled. That can lead degradation of the soul. That can lead degradation. That can lead to fall down. Okay, very strong, very impetus. Okay, very faithful. Like says Durvasa. Okay, Durvasa and Ambrish Maharaj example is there. Vishwamitra and Menka example is there. Okay, they were trying to control this. These are the renunciators. Okay, they are trying to control the senses artificially. But when situation happens, the senses they can carry away the person. Okay, so senses carried away these two persons. Okay, like for a strong person also they can carry away the mind of those strong person. Okay, but if mind is engaged in Krishna consciousness, so our senses are already engaged. They are not starving. The senses are not getting starved of the sense object. Okay, so our senses are fully relishing the fruits of devotional service. Then what will happen? Even even sense gratification will become distasteful. Okay, so if our senses are engaged in something higher, then the material things will become distasteful. We'll automatically lose them. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, because they are relishing the spiritual taste, material taste they can leave. Okay, and if we are trying to artificially control the senses, our senses are starved. Okay, and fault on can happen any time. Okay, so example is Maharaj Ambarish and Yamunacharya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tani sarvani samyasayamya yuktasita matparaha vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Hare Krishna.
So one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as man of steady intelligence. Control the senses. Okay, who is restrained the senses, keeping them under full control. How can we keep our senses in full control? How can man of steady intelligence can keep the senses? By constantly engaging the senses in service of Krishna. Okay, that is the answer. How can a person of man of steady intelligence keep the senses restrained? Not by artificially controlling, just by engaging the senses to something higher. Okay, so that is the main thing. Matpara, fixed consciousness upon Krishna. Paramatma burns off all the impurities of heart. So we should keep our senses attached to Krishna, otherwise fall down can happen. So how the fall down can happen? It is now 8 stages of fall down are there. So how the fall down starts? So that is described in the 8 stages. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate. Hare Krishna.
So there are 8 stages. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsha. So we are not the starting of the fall down happens with just one thing. That is, we are thinking about the object. Okay. So just while contemplating the object of the senses, just we are thinking. Okay. Every act which we are doing, every act, whether good or bad, it will start with a thought in our mind. Okay. So that is the first stage, contemplating on the object of the senses. So now we are thinking about the object of senses. Then what will happen after thinking? The person develop attachment for them. Okay. So we have a thinking. Now after thinking, we become attached to that thing. Okay, that object, and from such attachment, lust develop, and from that attachment will gradually progress, and that will become lust, and from the lust, if lust is unsatisfied, then anger will develop. Okay, krodha. Okay, so this is the thing. So the gradually we are moving toward the fall down. So first was the contemplation. Okay, contemplation. After contemplation, we become attached to that object. After we become attached to the object, then lust will develop. Too much attachment will develop, and lust will develop. And after the lust is not satisfied, it will be changed to anger. Okay, and what will happen from the anger? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti भ्रंशात् बुद्धि नाशः बुद्धि नाशात् प्रणश्यति.
Okay, so now anger has developed till now. So after anger, what happens? From anger, complete delusion arises. So we are not able to think what is correct, what is not correct. So that is called delusion. And from the delusion, bewilderment of memory develops. Okay, so now our memory is also lost. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. So after memory, here comes the intelligence. Intelligence is also lost. And when intelligence is lost, one fall down again into the material pool. Okay, so the fall down started just with the contemplation. Okay, the thought. Okay, that we have to enjoy this object. So that thought will lead to full fall down. Okay, so what is the way to control? At the starting only, stop the thought. Okay, we know that every bad thing or good thing will start with a thought. Okay, So when the bad thing is happening, when the bad thoughts are coming, we should stop that bad thought at that point only. Okay, then it won't become a bad work. It won't become a bad habit. It won't lead to fall down. Okay, so that is it. So first is we are contemplating on the object of senses. So after contemplating, attachment will develop. After the attachment, too much attachment or increased attachment will develop. That is called lust. And if lust is not fulfilled, it will lead to anger. And if anger is there, it will lead to delusion. And from delusion, bewildered memory will develop. After the memory, here comes the intelligence. So loss of intelligence will be there. And after that, it will become fall down. Okay, so this is the fall down. Okay. Now comes
Hare
the
Krishna Prabhuji.
third part we have over. Now comes the walk. How does they walk?
रागद्वेष
Yes, Mataji.
विमुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति. Hare Krishna.
But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Okay. How does they walk? They are free from all the attachment and aversion and are able to control the senses through regulative principles of freedom. What is the regulative principles? Okay. What is the regulative principle? Regulative principles of dharma, regulative principles of four regulative principles we have in ISKCON. What are the four regulative principles? Can anyone tell me? In the chat box, or you can raise hand. What are the four regulative principles in four pillars of dharma? We also call regulative principles that are called regulative principles. What are the four regulative principles? Can anyone tell me? Chat box or raise hand? Anything? Okay. No answer. What is the first regulative principle? Okay, one. Oh, all the answers Chitra Mataji has given. No intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling. So these are the four regulative principles are there in the ISKCON. And these are regulative principles of Dharma, regulative principles of basic pillars of the Dharma. Okay, so when we are, these are called regulative principle of freedom, not that so many rules and regulations are there. So many rules and regulations are there. These are not like so many rules and regulations. These are for the progress to the spiritual life. Okay, other things. So if we think that all those things are binding, that is the wrong way of thinking. We think that the material thing are binding us. Okay, so many desires we have, so many activity we do, so many things we do, and those things are so binding to us that we are not able to leave them. Okay, and when we leave those things, that things become regulative principles of freedom, like no intoxication, no illicit sex. Intoxication is binding us. If we're leaving that intoxication, we'll feel free. No illicit sex. Illicit sex is binding us. It is so compulsive, binding us. So if we are not doing that, that is we feel free. So regulative principle of freedom. These are not regulative principle for binding. These are for freedom. Okay, we are not able. We are seeing the opposite only. Okay, that these are so many rules and regulations. These rules regulations are binding us, but actually these rules and regulations are freeing us. Okay. For one, thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold misery of material existence exists no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. One who is not connected with the Supreme can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So for peace, for happiness, people are searching for happiness, searching for the happiness. From the birth to death, people are searching for happiness, happiness, happiness. Everything they are doing, everything they are trying for the happiness, but they are not getting the happiness because they are the basic thing which is missing in them. What is the basic thing? That is the peace, purity. If a person, think about that, think about this. If a person doesn't have purity, can that person be happy? No, it is not like that. Okay. So for happiness, you should first become pure. Okay. Unless and until purity is there, you won't feel happiness. Okay. So basic thing for happiness is to become pure. How we can be pure? Just by attaching ourselves to that thing. Okay. As a boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away man's intelligence. So five senses are there. Even the mind focuses on one object. Even the mind thinks about sense object of one object. If your mind is, it can carry away. Even the one sense can carry away the mind. Okay, so that is the thing which is written here. As the boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the senses on which mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Therefore, one whose senses are restrained from the object is certainly the steady intelligence. Okay, we are too bound by the senses. Okay, so if our sense see that object, okay, we think that we are free. But if our senses see that object, we want that object. Okay, and we think that we are free. That is not freedom. Okay, if a person sees anything, any sense object, and he thinks that I have to eat that thing, that is bond only. That is the bondage only, not the freedom. Okay, freedom is the other way around. If you can control, then it is freedom. Okay, so living entity is trying to restrain. Okay, so we'll start from there. One of the roaming senses, even one of the senses is not controlled on which mind focus, it will can carry away the mind intelligence or the man intelligence. So one sense is enough for fault on. Okay, but if the senses are restrained, okay, if the senses are restrained from the object of senses and it is practiced under bona fide spiritual master, okay, then that person is called of steady intelligence. So steady intelligence means a person who has controlled his senses, okay, who has controlled his senses. And senses engaged in the service of Lord, that means senses are controlled. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. या निशा सर्वभूतानां यस्यां जागर्ति संयमे यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने. Hare Krishna.
What is the night for all the being is the time for awakening for the self-control, and the time for awakening for all the being is the night for the introspective stage. Okay, so night means ignorance, or the day means you can say as the ignorance and the knowledge. Okay, so what is the night for all the being is the time for awakening for the self-control. Self-controlled person awaken at the time when the materialistic person sleep. Okay, and when the materialistic person is awakened, the sage sleep. Okay, so that is a different thing which is being said here, but the meaning is like that. Living entity, there are two classes of intelligence: material activities, which are struggling for sense gratification, and they are working in the activity based on the material sense gratification. But there is other class that is called sage, who is working for self-realization. The two classes are there. One is the materialistic, one is the sage. Materialistic are working for the sense gratification. Sage is working for the self-realization. Okay, so materialistic is doing the activity based on the material sense gratification. Sage is doing the activity for the spiritual advancement. Okay, so these two classes are there. Their activities are like day and night. Okay, the different activity. What is day for it? It is night for it. What is night for it? It is day for it. Okay, so that is the thing. Not disturbed by the demand of senses. The self-realized person is not disturbed by the demand of the senses. So if senses demand, that is binding. Okay, and if senses not disturbed by the senses or demand of the senses, that is the freedom. Okay. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desire. So controlling of the desire is important, but not the satisfying the desires. Okay, so that is the thing. Self-situated person try to control the desires, not to satisfy those desires. A person who has given up all the desire for sense gratification, who live free from desire, who has given up all the sense of proprietorship, is devoid of false ego. He alone can attain real peace. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Esha Brahmi Sthita Partha Nainam Sapya Vimuhyati Sthitvasyam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richyati.
that is the way of his spiritual and godly life. After attaining which a man, is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So, this concept will be taking further in the later chapters. Okay. So this is the summary. So we have finished chapter number 2. This is the summary. We have finished 5 sections. So Arjuna is further out and surrender in the section A. Section B, Jnana Yoga section. Okay, fight. There is no death for the soul. So our real identity and bodily identity we have discussed, and we have discussed that there is no death for the soul. Then we have discussed the karma kanda. You should fight for the because if you are not fighting, people will be scorning you with bad words. Future generations, what they will say, these things. Okay, if you're winning, you will get the swarga. If you're losing this battle, you will get the swarga. If you're losing, you will get this entire earthly kingdom. So karma kanda section Krishna is describing. Then the D part, nishkam karma, fight but without any reaction. So there is no sinful reaction in the fighting process. Okay, so if you are doing your duty, that is not a that is not a sinful process. Then I've discussed about the isthita pragya. Okay, so these things we have discussed. Okay, so finally Chitra Mataji has put the final reminder for the attendance today. So, and Deepavali is there tomorrow, so happy Diwali to all. Okay,
Same
and
to you, Prabhu.
I hope, yes, I hope you will all will read chapter number 2. If any doubt, Mataji will be putting the form for asking the question. I will be happy, more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, so we'll meet after Diwali. We'll meet next week. Okay, so with this, I'll just unmute everyone. And thank you, Mataji, for nicely reciting the sloka, and
Hare
Prerna
Krishna,
Mataji for
Prabhu.
nicely playing the. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Yes.
you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Hare
Diwali.
Krishna.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Hare
Diwali.
Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Diwali to you.
Yes, yes,
Happy
yes.
Diwali to
Wishing you
you.
all
Happy
happy
Diwali.
Diwali. Very happy Diwali. Safe
Hare
Diwali.
Krishna Prabhu, Happy Diwali.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Patitanam pavanebhyo